You just close the bathroom door. For exactly 1 minute of privacy, almost instantly, you hear a sniffing sound at the bottom crack, followed by a furry paw sliding aggressively under the door, swiping back and forth across the tiles. You probably think your dog is just being incredibly nosy. Or maybe your dog did something completely bizarre today, like suddenly freezing and staring blankly at an empty wall for a full minute. And you simply brushed it off. Behaviors say these aren't just random, meaningless actions. They are a direct message. And you completely missed it. What you are about to discover today will decode their secret language and permanently change the way you see your dog. We are going to explore 10 weird habits with 10 scientific explanations that your dog has been desperately waiting for you to understand. And make sure you stick around, because we are saving the profound truth about why they suddenly expose their belly. For the very end of this journey, let's dive right in. Number 1. Why they nibble you right after licking. Picture this. You are relaxing on the couch, and your dog comes over to gently lick your hand or your arm. You relax into this sweet show of affection, but suddenly, and entirely without any warning, they start gently nibbling or pinching your skin with their front teeth. It is often called corn cobbing, and it almost feels like a tiny, rapid fire bite, like a switch just flipped in their brain. Do not worry, this is not aggression, and it is not a sudden mood swing. Licking and nibbling are actually two halves of the exact same process. Social grooming. When dogs groom each other in a wild pack, they alternate between using their tongue to clean the fur and using their incisors to pull out tiny mats. Dirt or parasites. When your dog switches from licking to nibbling your arm, they are simply moving to the next stage of the grooming cycle. To their ancient canine brain, your skin is just fur that needs tending to. They are performing a complete caretaking program from start to finish, treating you as a beloved member of their family. Number 2. Why they carry a toy and whine. It happens when you come home, or sometimes randomly in the middle of the day. Your dog grabs a stuffed toy, a ball, or even one of your socks, and starts pacing around the house. As they march around, they let out a high-pitched, muffled whine, or a prolonged groan through the toy. To a new owner, this sound can be alarming, as if the dog is in physical pain or distressed. But they are not calling for help. They are parading their catch and announcing it to the world. In the wild, canine mothers bring food back to the den and make specific vocalizations to call their pups over to eat. Similarly, wild hunters will proudly parade a successful catch to the rest of the pack. Your dog is doing the exact same thing. They have caught their plush toy, and the whining is an overflow of immense excitement and a demand for you to acknowledge their great victory. If you praise them, they usually calm down, but if you ignore them, they will keep pacing until you finally validate their hunting skills. Number 3. Why they shred cardboard into a million pieces. You leave an empty delivery box on the floor, and within 20 minutes, it looks like a paper shredder exploded. Your dog doesn't eat the cardboard. They just rip it into tiny, messy pieces and spit them out. They do this with a level of intense focus and joy that makes it look like the greatest game on earth. Why? It all comes down to the canine predatory sequence. Stalk, chase, grab, bite, dissect, and consume. Modern dogs rarely get to complete this sequence, but shredding cardboard perfectly satisfies the dissect phase. The texture of corrugated cardboard offers a highly satisfying resistance that mimics the sensation of tearing into a catch. Furthermore, the act of shredding is a massive stress reliever. The repetitive motion releases dopamine and helps them burn off anxious energy, much like a human popping bubble wrap. As long as they aren't eating it, tearing up boxes is incredibly healthy for their brain. Number 4. Why they steal your spot the second you stand up. You get up from your favorite spot on the couch to grab a glass of water, and 3 seconds later, your dog has curled up exactly where you were sitting. It happens with sniper-like precision, as if they were tracking your every move, just waiting for their chance. But your dog isn't trying to be dominant or bossy by taking your seat. That warm spot on the couch combines the two most valuable resources in your dog's entire world: comfortable heat and your concentrated scent. Dogs actively seek warmth to regulate their body temperature. And a spot you just heated up to 98 degrees is the ultimate luxury. More importantly, that cushion is now heavily saturated with your pheromones. To a dog, your scent equals absolute safety and love. By curling up in your freshly abandoned spot, they are wrapping themselves in a blanket of your identity. It is their way of staying physically connected to you even when you walk into the other room. They steal your spot because they love you. Number 5. Why they stare blankly at the wall or empty space. They are sitting peacefully, and suddenly their head snaps up. Their gaze locks onto a random, completely empty spot on the wall or a dark corner of the hallway. They sit there unblinking, ears perked slightly forward, staring for a full minute. It can be incredibly eerie, making you feel like your house is haunted. But your dog isn't looking at a ghost. They are processing sensory information that is completely invisible to you. A dog's hearing and sense of smell are biological marvels. They can hear frequencies far beyond human capability. When they stare blankly at a wall, they are likely listening to mice scurrying inside the drywall, the hum of electrical wiring, water moving through pipes, or insects buzzing in the ventilation. They freeze because they are actively analyzing the signal, trying to determine if it is a threat or prey. In the wild, a moving hunter is easily spotted, so by freezing, they become invisible while gathering data. Number 6, why they dig in circles before lying down. You buy your dog a massive, ultra-soft, expensive orthopedic bed before they lie down. They aggressively dig at the fabric with their front paws. They spin around in 3 or 4 tight circles before finally collapsing with a heavy sigh. Why do they need to aggressively remodel a bed that is already soft? This is a purely instinctual behavior, hardwired into their DNA from their wolf ancestors thousands of years ago. Wild dogs didn't have memory foam. They slept in tall grass, leaves, or snow. By digging and trampling the ground, they were physically patting down the tall grass to make a comfortable nest. More importantly, the scratching motion would scare away hiding snakes, scorpions, or insects that might bite them in their sleep. The circling allowed them to check the wind direction, so they could sleep with their nose facing the breeze to catch the scent of approaching predators. When your dog spins and digs in your living room, their modern body is just running an ancient software program designed to keep them perfectly safe. Number 7, why they sleep in tight, enclosed spaces. You have an entire house with multiple comfortable couches, rugs, and beds. Yet, you frequently find your dog sleeping completely jammed under the coffee table, wedged behind the sofa, or curled up in a tiny, perfectly round ball in the corner of the closet. To us, it looks incredibly claustrophobic and uncomfortable. To your dog, it is the ultimate sanctuary. Dogs possess a strong denning instinct. In the wild, a den is a small, enclosed space that provides safety from larger predators and extreme weather. When a dog seeks out a tight space under your furniture, They are looking for an environment where they only have to monitor one single entrance. With their back and sides protected by solid walls, their nervous system can completely power down. They don't have to stay on high alert. That tight yet cramped space offers an unmatched feeling of psychological security. Number 8. Why they shove their paws under the bathroom door. You go into the bathroom and close the door for just 1 minute of privacy. Almost instantly, you hear sniffing at the bottom crack, followed by a furry paw sliding aggressively under the door, swiping back and forth across the tiles. They aren't trying to pick the lock. They are gathering critical data. To a dog, a closed door inside their own territory is highly suspicious. Your dog considers you the most important member of their pack. When you disappear behind a solid barrier, their protective instincts and mild separation anxiety kick in. Since they cannot see you, they use their paws to investigate. The pads of a dog's paws are packed with sensitive nerve endings. By swiping under the door, they are checking for movement, testing the air temperature, and pulling your scent out from under the crack. It is their way of mapping the room and ensuring you haven't vanished into thin air. Number 9. Why they twitch, paddle, and bark in their sleep. Your dog is dead asleep on the floor. Suddenly, their whiskers start twitching. Their eyes dart rapidly back and forth under their closed eyelids. Their legs start kicking like they are running a marathon, and they let out tiny, muffled boof sounds. It looks like they are having a seizure, but they are actually experiencing rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. Just like humans, dogs dream during the REM cycle. Their brain is highly active, processing the memories and events of the day. The twitching and paddling means they are literally acting out their dreams, chasing a squirrel, playing with a friend, or running through an open field. The most important thing to know is that a dog will only enter this deep, vulnerable stage of REM sleep if they feel entirely secure in their environment. If your dog is sleep running next to you, it is the ultimate compliment. It means they trust you so completely to guard them, that they have allowed their brain to totally disconnect from the physical world. Which brings us to the most bizarre yet profoundly meaningful behavior of all. Number 10. Why they drop and roll over, exposing their belly. You walk into the room, or you bend down to say hello, and your dog instantly flops onto the floor. They roll onto their back, kick their legs out, and stare up at you. Sometimes with a goofy upside-down smile or a soft tail wag against the floor. It looks completely ridiculous, and you cannot help but stop and rub their stomach. Why do they do this? Rolling over and exposing their belly is the absolute pinnacle of canine communication. In the animal kingdom, the stomach is the softest, most vulnerable part of the body, housing all the vital organs. By willingly exposing it to you, your dog is sending the strongest possible signal of trust, submission, and deep affection. They are saying, I feel so incredibly safe with you that I can be completely defenseless in your presence. It is an act of total surrender to your love. Furthermore, dogs are brilliant learners. They know that every single time they do this, you stop what you're doing, smile, and give them a belly rub. They have successfully trained you. They roll over because it is the most reliable and guaranteed way to get exactly what they crave, more than anything else in the entire world. Your undivided attention and affection, everything your dog does, from the weirdest little quirks to the most dramatic gestures, is a conversation. They are constantly speaking to you, showing you their wild ancestry, their brilliant intelligence, and their unbreakable devotion. Now that you know their secrets, you can finally speak their language back to them. We would absolutely love to hear about the furry best friend in your life. Drop down into the comments below and tell us your dog's name and which of these 10 weird habits they do the most.